What does it mean to be a spiritual person? You won't automatically qualify by living in an ashram for endless years, or reading the top 100 spiritual books ever written. Spirituality begins with positive intention. But in the end, a person's behavior is the one and only determinant of where they sit on the spectrum of spirituality. Do they embody qualities like love, kindness, compassion, humility, tolerance, and forgiveness, at least most of the time? That's what counts. Once you understand the habits of deeply spiritual people, you'll know who to emulate so you can deepen your own spirituality. And you won't be fooled by spiritual narcissists who want to take you down the wrong path. What sets apart deeply spiritual people? Let's take a look. 1. They are willing to lend a hand. Spiritual people gladly help others. They understand what comes around goes around. They know positive actions lead to positive outcomes and negative actions lead to negative outcomes. That may not always be obvious. Sometimes, bad things happen to good people. And at times, it can seem like bad people have it all. But in the end, great spiritual teachers have told us time that karma cannot be escaped. However, deeply spiritual people aren't just doing good to get the reward. Nor are they acting out of fear of ending up in the wrong place. They simply have a beautiful heart, often developed over many years of practice. They would never hurt others. Hurting others has become akin to hurting themselves. They understand the need for healthy boundaries. But their boundaries aren't as restrictive as the average person. Because their willingness to help is rooted in the understanding that we're all connected, we all suffer, and good acts lead to the best outcome for all. Modern society has conditioned us to think of ourselves first and foremost. Most people think of getting ahead far more than they think of helping someone else get ahead. So, start with small acts of kindness. Give a compliment, open the door for another person, give your change to the homeless man sitting on the concrete. Then expand your capacity a bit more by engaging in an act of kindness that feels a little harder for you. Once you understand the spiritual principles behind giving and enjoy the warm feelings that ensue, generosity will become second nature to you. 2. They take things in stride. Deeply spiritual people understand impermanence. They don't expect happy times to last forever. And they don't become overly distressed when bad circumstances come their way. They see challenges as opportunities to learn, grow, and further deepen their spiritual inclinations. Deeply spiritual people possess equanimity. This evenness of mind remains even when they are under stress. This doesn't mean they let seriously harmful acts slide. They speak up when it's appropriate to do so, but always with compassion in their hearts. Make a commitment to be mindful of your own reactions in any given situation. Notice if you fly off the handle at every little thing, but don't judge yourself. Instead, ask yourself questions like, how much does this really matter? Is it really worth this degree of upset? Take a moment to put yourself in the other person's shoes and feel empathy for them. When a challenge or an unwanted change occurs, you don't have to let out a whoopee. Just remind yourself that everything is impermanent. This too will pass. 3. They don't hold a grudge. When harmed, a deeply spiritual person doesn't respond in kind or hold a grudge, waiting for the right moment to attack the offender. They understand most people act on strongly encoded pattern behavior stemming from childhood wounds, family conditioning, or societal pressures. Although the harmful person is responsible for his behavior and will eventually reap the consequences, in a very real sense, he can't help himself. Unless a person has committed to leading a mindful life dedicated to positive actions, they'll continue to act out of patterns that bring suffering to themselves and others. A person who harms you needs your love, compassion, and tolerance, not your retribution. Retribution only continues the cycle of violence. You never feel good when you hold ill will. Holding a grudge can be detrimental to your mental health and harm you more than the person you're mad at. For most of us, it's not easy to let go after being harmed. Depending on the situation, it can take time to work through our own emotions surrounding the hurt. Try to remember that holding onto a grudge harms you. If you find it difficult to let go of ill will, make an aspiration to be able to do so in the future. 4. They are self-aware. Instead Instead of running after extraordinary experiences, deeply spiritual people strive to be aware in every moment. Self-awareness is the only way to avoid negative actions of body, speech, and mind. Mindfulness can reduce stress, increase focus, and improve working memory. Thoughts and emotions precede behavior. So, be constantly aware of the kinds of emotions arising in your mind. Emotions like anger, craving, ambition, pride, or jealousy can easily lead to negative words or actions that will bring about suffering for yourself and others. But don't judge yourself if negative thoughts or emotions arise. Instead, learn to let them pass by. Most importantly, refrain from acting upon them. Every morning, make an aspiration to be conscious of your thoughts and emotions and to refrain from negative actions. Every evening, review your day. Celebrate any positive actions and make an intention to engage in more good acts the next day. Note any negative actions and without judging yourself, make a vow not to repeat them the next day. Commit to practicing mindfulness meditation 10 to 30 minutes each day. 5. They see the divine in everyone. They see people's spiritual essence behind their personalities. They don't judge people by their past. Even a murderer can become a saint. We tend to pigeonhole people with our concepts, judgments, and criticisms. Wouldn't we feel much lighter if we began to see the divine in everyone? Focus on the positive qualities in people rather than the negative. And be aware that people can radically change even when least expected. Every time you meet someone, let go of any preconceived notions and just be with them in the present moment. Experience how they are now rather than how you believe they will be. Focus on a person's positive qualities rather than what you perceive as negative ones. If you want to deepen spiritually, emulate their positive habits beginning with these 5. 1. Lend a hand. 2. Take things in stride. 3. Don't hold a grudge. 4. Become more self-aware. 5. See the divine in everyone. Of course, there's more to spirituality than these 5 habits. But start with these and you'll be off to an excellent start. Have a happy and peaceful life. Consider subscribing the channel.